Let's just go ahead and talk about one thing that most seven-figure founders avoid like the plague. I'm sure you guessed it. It is the profit and loss statement. This is one of the three key financial statements that you need to really make informed decisions and to create a healthy and profitable business. Okay. You are probably here because you already have the revenue, you have built the team, you probably have someone on payroll that's handling your books. You may even have a CFO on retainer. But if we're being real and we're paying attention and we're being honest and transparent and all the things, your numbers still feel a little foggy to you, right? You're not exactly sure what they mean. You know that you're supposed to meet with your accountant, every couple weeks or every month or whatever the cadence is, but you don't really understand what's happening when you have those meetings. So I want to talk to you about what that means and how to really empower and enlighten yourself by understanding what these statements mean. All right. So let's say you open that monthly profit and loss, you skim the top and the bottom lines, and you squint at some of the expenses. You probably shrug and say, that's cool. I guess I get it, or maybe not, with a little bit of confusion. Or maybe it's a little bit of dread because you just don't get it, right? You don't feel like numbers are for you, which is a lie, by the way. I just want you to understand that. But you just don't know what to do with it, or you're just simply avoiding it because you just don't have time to really break down what it means to look at those statements. Here's the truth though, like your profit and loss statement is not a boring financial document. It's actually a diagnostic tool, and we use those to make informed decisions in our businesses. And I really want this for you as well. The profit and loss, essentially, when you break it down to its core and its essence, is what your business is saying to you. It's the health of your business. It's all of these things. And I really think it's important for you to understand this and leverage this to make decisions moving forward. If you learn to read it, not like a bookkeeper, but like a boss, right? Or a CEO, everything about the way that you grow, the way you lead, all of those shift into high definition. Okay. It is transformative for you. And I really want you to understand this. So let's kind of reposition what that profit and loss statement should do for you. It's not for your accountant. Like newsflash, it's for you, okay? It essentially shows you that every decision that you've made, whether that be pricing, staffing, marketing, investing in the wrong damn tool for the third time. I'm not pointing any fingers, but if that's you, it's all in there. But the problem is that most CEOs are treating it like an autopsy report instead of like a real-time dashboard. And we don't want that for you. Many times when we work with traditional accountants and strategists, that's what they're doing. They're using historical old data to help you make decisions. And when you work with a CFO, we're supposed to be forward casting, forward looking. We decide what needs to be done in the future to reach your revenue goals, to reach your life goals, to reach your CEO goals, all those things. So I just want you to understand that as well. It is a forward looking view of what to do in your business as opposed to a historical, static, stale business. So what it is trying to do is essentially move you from reaction to proactivity and precision. But first, you need to know what you need to listen for. So let's just kind of like get into it. So there are three things that your profit and loss statement is screaming at you, but you are still ignoring it. The first one that I find is typically that you're overpaying for chaos. I said it unapologetically, by the way. So you're growing, your revenue is increased, it's up, but your operations are a hot mess, right? You have a bloated team, which means you have too many people and not enough return on investment on the amount of people that you've hired. You've got overlapping roles. You have tools that nobody's using. So you may have redundant like applications or softwares or things like that. You have a tech stack that looks like a Jenga tower, more so than a system, meaning that it is very complex. You have a lot of moving parts and pieces, and you really don't need that. And instead of solving with strategy, what you're doing is trying to solve it with headcount, meaning you're throwing a whole bunch of people at it, and that's not what we need. This is not scaling, by the way. This is bending your way into confusion and crisis, right? Not to be like alarmist, but that's what's happening. And your P&L will show you this. I would love for you to just take a second is looking at your payroll percentage. Is it creeping up, right? Is it different each month or every a couple of months? If that's the case, then we don't have a strong hold on what it is that we're spending our money on. And I'll tell you something else. Those are not just overhead expenses. That is a leadership red flag. And it's something that you definitely want to pay attention to. The second thing is that your profit isn't scaling with your revenue. And this one, it's a slick one, right? It's like a gas light. for real, if you let it be, right? You'll see the revenue coming into your bank account and you assume that you're winning, but at the end of the day or at the end of the month, your net profit is either very little, it's flat, meaning it didn't change from month to month, or you're losing money. And that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that our revenue is going up each and every month. Our profit margin is also increasing. So when we're talking about profit margin, it's not necessarily what's left over. It's really what it is that you are profiting. So if you're familiar with the profit first methodology, you're supposed to be paying yourself as the owner first and then paying expenses. So again, you really want to pay attention to that. So if your payroll is high, if it is, overextending you, then you really need to pay attention to that and find out how to reduce that, because you're losing money hand over fist when you don't have that in control and you don't have that dialed in. Okay. Let me just share a story with you. I had a client who essentially doubled her revenue in 2 years, but her take-home income did not move at all. As a matter of fact, she was paying herself less because she had a number of different team members that had come on board. She had a number of expenses that had increased unknowingly because she wasn't keeping track of all the things that needed to be tracked each and every month. She didn't assign a dollar amount to each and every dollar that came in. Or an assignment, I should say, right? So marketing spend, payroll expenses, our customer relationship management software, our websites, our, outside counsel, our contractors, all those things need to have an assignment. And unfortunately, we didn't have that in place before she came to work with me. So essentially what she was doing is feeling busier, more stressed, and less rewarded than she was ever, right? And I just wanted to let her know, that's not growth. That's actually this hamster wheel of foolishness, that I like to call it, that is eating into your legacy fund. It's eating into your future plans, decisions, goals, dreams, all those things, right? So I just want you to understand that and really be serious about these things, because your top line could be real sexy, meaning you see what came in, but at the end of the day, your bottom line revenue, which is after all the expenses have been taken out of your bank account, it's whispering for help. It's struggling, and we don't want you to struggle, because you are incredible female founders. You are here to make the world shift. You're creating transformation for your clients, whether that be through a service or a product. You are doing God's work here. And that's just what I want you to really focus on and understand. The third thing that I see is that you're gambling with your marketing budget, or you have no budget at all. This one might sting a little bit, but your profit and loss is telling you that your marketing is not strategic. Instead, it's experimental. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Facebook ads, Google ads, all the different types of ad platforms have increased in the amount of spend you have to actually give away in order to bring a client into your ecosystem. And when you don't have a very strategic, intentional strategy or process in place, you're just throwing money into the wind. You're essentially lighting it on fire. And that's not what we do when we are seven-figure CEOs, okay? You're doing things like boosting posts here, you're tossing cash on ads there. You have a new agency this month, because last month's agency didn't work the way it was supposed to, but you don't have the results, right? You don't have the return on the investment that you've made. And I just want you to think about this. If there is no tie between the ad spend and the sales, that's not an investment. It's actually a money pit, and you have fallen victim to it. And sometimes it can be very hard for us to climb our way out of that. So I really want you to focus on, again, making sure that everything that you spend your money on is an investment, and there was going to be some sort of return in your business based on that spend. We want to make sure that we're not just focusing on brand awareness, but we're hoping that it not only turns us into conversions, but paid clients, okay? You don't need more creativity. What you need is clarity. You need to understand what these things are telling you. So those are our top three. Again, we talked about making sure that we understand our profit and loss statement, because we want to make sure that we are able to not spend chaotically, right? We also want to make sure that what we're doing as far as our profit is that it's actually scaling in alignment with our revenue, right? We don't have revenue that's going up and profit that's going down, or vice versa. And we also want to make sure that, again, we are being very strategic and intelligent and intentional with our marketing budget, because marketing allows you to increase visibility, engagement, and it allows you to grow your business. It's not only for brand awareness, it's for doing things like inviting them to webinars or masterclasses or trainings that you have, live events, virtual events. It's all of those things, and it's going to help you increase and enhance your ability to speak to your ideal client. So you really want to make sure that you're not gambling with that. You are leveraging that money strategically and intelligently to grow your business. So those are our three. So now you're probably thinking, okay, what do I do with this information? I do just want to let you know that by no means am I here to shame you or make you feel bad, right? Because we all don't know what we don't know. I do want you to understand that you're here to level up, okay? I'm not saying by any means that you need to be a spreadsheet junkie or an accountant or become an accounting expert overnight, because that's not in your ministry and that's not in your wheelhouse. But what I am saying is that I'd love for you to get curious about what it means. I want you to start thinking, what is my decision going to do? How is it going to impact my business? How is it going to impact my personal life? Okay. So these are some of the things I want you to start thinking. The next thing I want you to start doing at a minimum once a month is pull up your profit and loss statement. I want you to look at the line items that are growing the fastest that are not your profit. So what are the expenses that are the most significant for you? Is it payroll? Is it, advertising? Is it your software? Is it your contractors? Is it some sort of other external consultant or professional fee that you're paying? You really want to look at those things and make sure that that is not eating into your profit. Okay. I want you to say, is this expense a needle mover in my business or a showstopper, right? Meaning that it can't run without it, or is it just a nice to have? If it's just a nice to have, we want to start thinking about, how do I get rid of it? How do I, collapse some of these expenses? How do I, bundle or combine some of these expenses so that I have everything that I need without impacting the way that my business moves, okay? This right here, those three questions and those three kind of tasks is how powerful CEOs become even more dangerous. Because when you have this information, you're no longer reacting. You are learning and you are leading with attention. And that is essentially what we want to do as CEOs. I don't want to belabor this, but I just want to say, if any of this hit home for you, I'd love to just share this one last thought. Even though you may not be where you want to be, you are not behind, you are not broken, there is nothing wrong with you, okay? You're just overdue for some clarity in your business. And the good news is that you don't even have to do it alone, right? Surprise. If you want to understand what your numbers are really trying to tell you, if you're really ready to stop playing small with your financial power, I implore you, I invite you, I encourage you to book a clarity call with me. On that call, we will decode what your numbers are telling you. We'll align your growth with your profit, and we'll get you leading like the 7-figure CEO that you truly are. You can also hit subscribe and like this video. Share it with your business bestie, because this is important stuff and it's important work, ladies and gents. I am determined to help as many women in business, as many female founders as possible build sustainable, scalable businesses that allow them to live and leave the legacy that they desire, have the impact that they desire, and have the income and influence that they desire as well. So I would love for you to do that. Hit that subscribe button, share it with your business bestie, get them in here, because next week, we're going to be diving into the 3 financial red flags I see in scaling businesses that look healthy on paper, but are actually bleeding from the inside. Alrighty. Again, I am Patrice Malloy. I'm the Affluent CFO. I'm so happy to have you here at Unapologetic Affluence. Thank you for watching. Thank you for empowering yourself. Thank you for enlightening yourself. Now, I want you to go out and lead like you mean it, and we will talk next time. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.